Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz. What am I? I'm executive director at ClassicsToday.com. Why bother with a retake? We all know each other, right? We're all friends. And here I am with random reviews from the new Overflow room in reverse alphabetical order. We're done with the Strausses, all of them. No exceptions. Strauss's history, and we're going in reverse alphabetical order. And so after Strauss, what I have down here in the Overflow room of stuff that I stored for fun is Leopold Stokowski. And this is going to be a multi-video series because, well, I collect Stokowski. I always did because he was such a character and such an amazing presence in the history of recordings. First of all, he recorded everything. He never met a piece he didn't like, basically. And he did more premieres and new things and interesting things than any other conductor who ever lived, bar none. And then there's what he did to these things that he played. His retouchings and bizarre interpretive things and reorchestrations. And he lived to be 1,000,000 years old. And, he began his career in the era of acoustic recordings and lived until quadraphonic recording in the 1970s. So it's just an amazing legacy. And I have a lot of it. And nowadays, of course, a lot of it's been all like boxed up, right? And reissued. There's like the Sony box and the RCA box and the Decca box and the EMI box. So you can get a lot of his stuff, but not nearly like all of it, in convenient boxes. But back in the day when I was amassing all of this material, you never knew what was going to happen. Things got released, things got deleted. You didn't know if it was ever coming back. And he was long gone, and his name was on its way to being kind of forgotten, by younger classical music, listeners, both of them. And so I collected it. So let's go through here and see how much. Now, this is really a small pile of Stokowski compared to what, like, his rabid fans have, because he does have rabid fans. I mean, they're very rabid. They're like foaming at the mouth rabid. I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those for any of these people. But I do find him fascinating, a fascinating musical personality. I am not a cult member. You know how I feel about those. So here is the first pile, in a minute, of Stokowski stuff, including most of what he had on the Kala label. And I've got also a lot of historical stuff in Overflow Room Part 2 Sub-Overflow, which is, a big couple shelves of like historical recordings I have back where the old Overflow Room is, but in the main house. So there's more Stokowski. It's everywhere. And maybe I'll do a supplement for some of this one of these weeks. But in the meantime, let's see what we've got here. Righty. There's Kala. So we'll do Kala separately. And we'll start with these first three nifty ones. Music from Russia. This is on Music and Arts, because there's also tons of live stuff. He broadcast everywhere, and NBC and the BBC, and he was everywhere. He was just everywhere. So you've got Russian stuff, A Night on Bald Mountain, and his own orchestration, of course, and Glinka's Kamarinskaya, and the Shostakovich Prelude in E flat, which Stokowski transcribed, and the Stravinsky Pastoral, arranged by Stokowski, and the 1812 Overture, and you never know what's going to happen with that thing, and when the cannons are going off, and how many there will be, and Scriabin, the poem of Ekstaz, yes, and Lyudov, 8 Russian folk songs, and the Bardin, Polovtsy, and dances, and this is all from one concert. I'm not kidding. From a concert with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, 15 June 1969. Hey, Mildred. What? How are you, sweetie? Come here. Come here. You want to come this way? Okay, never mind. She may come around the other way. So, wow. That's a concert. Now we've got this Decca thing. Here she is. There's Mildred. Hi, dear. Stokowski Encores. This was a Decca Phase 4 thing. I don't need to go through it because it's in this Stokowski Decca box. But at one point, they took all the little bits that came on the other albums and they stuffed them on this thing. And here he is doing encores. And this is like 1,000,000 of them, including that Stravinsky Pastoral and other things. All right, so now we have the Kala stuff. Some Decca Phase 4 stuff that was licensed, and then a lot of broadcast material. And other things. Oh, we don't have that yet. I still have these. Sorry. Cat got in the way. Something on the Venezia label. What was Venezia? you know, the 3 Tchaikovsky ballet suites, and then plus the other performance of Waltz on the Flowers on a bonus track. This is Stokowski conducting the symphony orchestra, which is whatever pickup ensemble he threw together for the purpose. And it's on, it's Venezia, it's from 1950. Okay, that was it. Oh, there's the other one. Okay, and then we've got the worst Brahms third ever. I mean, the most horrible performance in the world, with the Pittsburgh Symphony and Steinberg doing Brahms fourth, which is good, which is normal. This Brahms fourth is unspeakably bad. It's the most uninteresting, rigid in tempo. He doesn't even add a tam-tam or do something interesting. It's just, it's horrible. And the first movement, oh my God, the finale is totally mechanical and rigid, right? And the first movement is just the opposite. It goes from real fast to incredibly slow, to incredibly fast to incredibly slow. It makes you nauseous for a variety of reasons. Really one of his worst recordings of anything. What else have we got in here? Do we have more Kala stuff? I have more Kala stuff here. I should really do Kala separately. You know, I think maybe I will. Let me see what else. Hang on a minute. I think we'll make a separate video out of the Kala stuff, shall we? Because there's just so much of it. And we'll take another stack of miscellaneous goodies and finish up this particular first Stokowski one with those. Because there's just so much. Okay. So, what do we have here? Oh, Eric Kunsel of the Cincinnati Pops does Stokowski transcriptions. I mean, those are always fun, and they sound wonderful on Telarc, and so that's good. But, you know, it's not Stokowski conducting them. Then we've got, the Symphony of the Air on bridge. This is a wonderful mono recording, but it sounds wonderful. These are great performances from the Library of Congress. The Wagner Siegfried Idyll, which is 17 minutes long. That's reasonable. The Vaughan Williams Tallis Fantasia, which is 17 minutes long. That's a bit on the slow side. And Schoenberg's Verklärte de Nacht, which was, of course, a Stokowski specialty. Totally fabulous. Wonderful stuff. So that's great. That's on bridge. And then we've got this Testament thing where he's doing Scheherazade with the Philharmonia. And this is owned by BMG from 1956. And Stravinsky's Petrushka in the original version with the Leopold Stokowski Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Leopold Stokowski. Then we've got, this wonderful, wonderful disc of Levi Dawson, William Levi Dawson's Negro Folk Symphony, which is a masterpiece and which Stokowski championed throughout his career. It's absolutely fabulous. And let's see, what else have we got here? The Brahms' First Serenade, the Symphony of the Air. The first is with the American Symphony Orchestra, and then the Symphony of the Air. Wow, that's really neat. Let me just check something here, because according to this, of course, these are on MCA. I mean, this is all also part of Universal now, I believe, and it ought to be released, but, you know, it may have been at some point. I don't have my CD extractors with me down here. Oh, there we go. Okay, that was it. Lovely. All righty. Good. The project in itself. Then we've got this Andante Stokowski thing. Remember Andante? We've talked about Andante before. Andante was going to be the ultimate classical music portal, but it was really all just a sham set up so that, what's his name, the Yves Saint Laurent guy could get a hold of the building that housed the Panagel Foundation in Saint-Rémy de Provence and acquire the property, which he did, at which point Andante went, you know. But they issued some CDs in very designer packages, most of which were destroyed by having goopy, inky, sticky stuff all over them. But these ones are not goopy and inky and sticky. They're okay. And this is all kinds of early Stokowski recordings, you know, mostly with Philly, I believe. I mean, am I going to look? Do I care? Well, I hung on to it. Orchestra profiles, the All-American Youth Orchestra, Philadelphia, yeah, all kinds of things. And it's music by Rimsky-Korsakov and Borodin and Tchaikovsky and Bach and Bizet and Saint-Saëns and Liszt and Sibelius and Scriabin and Dvorak and Strauss and Shostakovich. And the recordings are from 1934 through 1940. So that's interesting. I'm hanging on to it, and someday I'll listen to it again. I mean, I did it the first time. Savalas in Philly doing Stokowski transcriptions was one of Savalish's, relatively less than boring Philadelphia recordings, many of which were more than boring. So this is fun, and it's the orchestra, that he did them with, so they certainly knew it. Not that they were still around. I mean, the same people were around. And the full dimensional sound, landmarks of a distinguished career. Well, this is in the EMI Warner Icon Stokowski box. And it's wonderful. It's all kinds of little Stokowski sugar plum, bonbon, lollipops, whatever you call them. Oh, yes. And we have a couple of these Vanguard things. Tchaikovsky 4, certainly one of the most twisted versions ever, except for the other live one that's on Music and Arts, which we may get to, which is the most twisted Tchaikovsky 4th ever. But this is right up there. It's not quite as demented, along with the Scriabin Etude in C-sharp minor, in Stokowski's arrangement, Opus 2, number 1, with the American Symphony. Vanguard, whoever owns it, should do a Stokowski box. There's this, there's this, Vivaldi, Bach, Corelli, and Mozart's Grand Partita, which is wonderful performance with winds of the American Symphony. Sounds luscious. And the Corelli, the Baroque stuff has Igor Kipnis doing the harpsichord continuo stuff. It's fabulous. There was, like I said, there was this, and then there's the Stravinsky L'Histoire du Soldat, and there may be a couple other things too. I might have to think about it, see if I can remember. But there could be a wonderful little collection of Stokowski things. That's it. Oh, that's it, yes. So that's the first pile of Stokowski things. Wow. Yep, there they are. Okay, well, there's more to come. Next up, we're going to do all the Kala stuff. So keep on listening, friends, and thanks for joining me. Take care.